Hey dude, jihad achievemented. I never bothered to kill the strongest people in the game, so I never fought France or Spain or Great Britain or Sweden or Songhai, not that they're actually that powerful, or Portugal, or anyone in North America. I never fought, I fought Bamanis a couple times, maybe 3 or 4 times, but I never took any territory from them. I always fought them to white peace, and I actually stayed allied with them most of the game. I never fought Austria, I never fought Ming. Actually, I fought Ming once and I lost, and they forced me to release as a vassal something that their ally Tibet then immediately gobbled up. So that's why I own a little bit of territory here and a little territory here and nothing in between. It's because Ming spit out a vassal of, not a vassal, spit out a nation, and then Tibet gobbled it up. Kind of cute. So there's still this triple alliance of Ming, Tibet, and Bamanis that is, they're not so much stronger than me, but when I fought them, I didn't foresee myself winning. So it's just because my entire army is infantry only. And I was fighting like a 3-front war with no real attempt at organization. So I did concede defeat in that war. I could probably beat them if I started over, and the problem is the Russian thing, like the World War I and World War II and Napoleon trying to march into Russia. The front is too vast. I can't block them from getting into my territory. So there's no way to just make a concerted front and push. My army is stronger than theirs, right? If I could just force them to fight me as I pushed through their lands, I could easily crush them. But I have to spread my army thinly around them and then try to push in on multiple fronts and then take a bunch of attrition as they focus their efforts on stomping on one side or the other side of my attack. And so if I put all my troops in Tibet, obviously I could kill any armies that came to try to kick me out of Tibet, but they wouldn't come to try to kick me out of Tibet. They'd go and siege 20 provinces at once in the north and in the west and in the south, and then I'd eventually peace out Tibet, but the war score for me would be -80 at that point against Ming. So if I bunched up all my armies and focused on Ming, I might be able to get the global war score kind of high, but my war exhaustion from having 1 million counter-sieged provinces would force me to not want to wait the amount of time that it takes to actually siege down Beijing. I threw a bunch of cannons into the level 9 fort, which is Beijing. And it was you have a negative 99% chance of knocking down this fort. And it never went up. It was just every month you have a negative 99% chance, negative 99% chance. And it's is this going to take 25 years to siege down a single fort? I'm not sure how that works, but I don't feel like they were very assailable. Anyway, you'll notice that I just got the achievement in 1774. What I basically did was I was still admin tech 5 until 1650, and I was still maybe admin tech 8 or so at 1720 or so. As soon as I got to 1720, I only had 300 provinces, and then I immediately sprinted from 300 provinces to 500 provinces after 1720 because I'd been forewarned that basically as soon as you hit admin 26, you can core provinces for 60% less. So basically, all game long, I focused admin the entire time. I kept my national focus set to admin. I kept a +1 admin advisor all game long. I made sure to get as many admin points as I possibly could. And it cost so much admin to core the provinces I was getting that I was never able to tech up. I was stuck at the same tech level the entire game, right? I was expanding. My rate of expansion was actually hampered by how many admin points I could come across, even with the admin, the cheaper coring cost admin idea, right? But then as soon as I got it, the Liberty event or whatever, there's this event that gives you 20% cheaper tech in exchange for -8% revolt risk in all of your provinces. So what I did was I took my 500,000 troops and I grouped them into groups of 20 infantry. Notice I have almost no cannons and cavalry. It's all infantry. So I just had a bunch of groups of 20 infantry spread all around my nation, all set to automatically suppress rebels. And I would get like 40,000 rebels every month, but I have 500,000 manpower and 500,000 troops, so I didn't care. And it wasn't tedious either, because I just used automated rebel suppression everywhere. So I just, set everything to automated rebel suppression. Went to peace from 1720 to 1735, 15 years of peace. Didn't get any new territory, didn't do anything, and all I did was just grab a level 3 admin advisor and spam admin tech. And I went from admin tech maybe 8 or maybe 10, maybe 5, somewhere in there, all the way up to 26 in this several year 5x speed, tons of revolts everywhere period. And the difference in how the game plays when you can core things in 1 year for 5 admin points, compared to when earlier it would have cost you 100 admin and taken you maybe 10 years to core the same province. It's ridiculous. All of a sudden the game is easy mode. So also with the imperialism CB, you don't even need a border. You can just attack any nation in the game with a CB that gives you free taking of any province you want. So basically it's just once you hit Diplo 22 and Admin 26, the game just says, look, you win. Go ahead and take any provinces you want. So honestly, I think all of the World Conquest or Ryukyu World Conquest or Jihad, which I just completed, or any of those huge Norwegian Wood, Sunset Invasion, any of those achievements, I think the key is just to be reasonably strong, maybe 100,000 troops or something, and reasonably high tech, and just kind of sit back and do nothing until Admin 26 and Diplo 22, and then just bam, you can take and core the entire world in the remaining 100 years, right? They give you 100 years where you can take and core anything you want for free. And so the first 300 years of the game are all just hey, see if you can survive, and that's it. That's all you gotta do. You don't even need to get very big. Just get big enough so that no group of 3 nations combined can kill you. But you don't need to get 300 provinces. I could have gotten 100 provinces, because like I said, at 1720 I started my journey to Admin 26, so maybe at 1740 I was done. So in the 40 years since then, I got 200 additional provinces. So I still have another 46 years to go. So theoretically, if you can get 200 provinces in 40 years, and you have 100 years to finish out the game, it's no problem. I could have gotten all 400 of the final provinces in those last 100 years. So I'm glad I got the achievement. It was one of the most fun achievements I've gotten in EU4. Just the starting as najd and dying to QQ, and starting as najd and dying to QQ, and starting as najd and finally killing QQ, and then having the Ottomans attack the Mamluks, and then trying to decide whether I should go with no allies or whether I should try to help the Mamluks, and then helping the Mamluks and Ottomans killed me. Don't help the Mamluks and I get beat up by QQ, who's mad that I beat them before, or to the Timurids or Persia or Adal or Ethiopia attacks me because I lost my only ally, and then retrying the strategy of allying the Ottomans, only to have the Ottomans betray me over and over and over and over. And then trying to prevent the Ottomans from betraying me by preventing them from completing various quests so that they couldn't pick up the quests that I knew would give them a quest to basically betray me, and then trying to expand east and west without ever going north, and then trying to only expand north, and then I took so many different attempts until I finally beat this that I feel like it allowed me to enjoy so many hours of EU4 that I really liked this achievement. I will say that the entire final game, where I just expanded straight north, westernized at 1440, and then gobbled up everything, and the Ottomans betrayed me, but I didn't even care because I was way more powerful than them at that point, and I beat up the Commonwealth and killed Muscovy and killed all the tribes and ate Norway. And I mean, the last game, I enjoyed it. I was having fun the whole time, but only in the sense that, like, I was enjoying knowing that I had this finally beat. I was enjoying knowing that after all that struggle to finally get it down, I did it. If you, some random person who's seen all these videos, went in and did what I did in the final game and won with only one attempt, I don't feel like this was actually a very interesting game. You know, like if it wasn't so hard to do, I wouldn't have enjoyed it, because I never, in all 400 years or 350 years of the playthrough, I never fought a war that was difficult. Because when you go north and you get Baghdad, right, this 20 development province in your very first war, the whole challenge of playing a nation of desert provinces that are all 3 development, you start with 5 provinces with a total of 15 development, and it's hilarious because you're in the middle of the desert with no money and blah, blah, blah. But then in your very first war, if you go north, you get a single province that with 20 development is worth more than your entire nation. And you don't just get Baghdad, right? You get all of these provinces that are 10 and 6 and 8 and 11 and 20. So basically, the going north strategy just defeats the whole purpose of playing najd. Like, it doesn't even feel like a najd playthrough. All of my early attempts, where I would take over all of Saudi Arabia and then take over much of Africa and then take over the desert portion of southern India, that's what the achievement is all about, right? You can gobble up more and more and more of this shitty, undeveloped desert territory, and you just never get an income that's capable of supporting an army that's bigger than size 10 or something. And that's what's the challenging and fun achievement. The approach of going due north, it bypassed that whole challenge. I was so strong from so early on that I never really felt challenged. And it allows you, by going north, you get so close to the Ottomans so quickly, and they're totally willing to ally you because you're the same religion as them. I just got the Ottomans as an ally really early, and they helped me gobble up basically anyone that I wanted, and it was just never challenging. So every single attempt except the last one, so fun, totally recommend it. But winning, not so much. Once you win, it stops the goodness. And like I said, I enjoyed it. I'm just saying, I don't think I would have if I hadn't lost so many times first. Anyway, ideas I know seem like important. Whenever I watch someone's AAR or wrap up or summary of what happened when they got a certain achievement, I'm like, so which ideas did you take? But you'll notice I didn't actually get any of the last 3 ideas, and I didn't get any of this idea until 1740 or something. I basically just went innovative and completed it right off the bat. Then I stuck with one idea group all the way into like maybe 1650, maybe 1700. So basically only innovative was my entire idea group for the most of the playthrough. And then I took influence only when I already, the game was over before I even took the influence idea group. So yes, I went influence and quantity and administrative and offensive afterwards, but none of them mattered, right? I feel like getting the first 2 pieces of the administrative idea group earlier would have made more sense, because like I said, throughout the entire playthrough, I was spending 100% of my administrative point budget on coring stuff. I didn't even have enough left over to tech up or to get in anything or do any of that. So I feel like I had a lot more Diplo points than I thought I would. If I wanted to do slightly better, and I know I kicked this thing's butt and I don't need to do any better, but like if I had advice for myself doing it again, it would be to take take more vassals and feed more vassals more territory, and especially to get a vassal to feed this Indian crap to, because Malwa and once you westernize, you can't vassalize anyone in India anymore. You have to vassalize someone who's a Muslim tech or higher. You can't vassalize Indian tech people once you're westernized. So there was no way to feed provinces in the east, and a lot of them have double coring cost things attached to them. I did experiment a little bit with taking protectorates and then gobbling up one province at a time from them, but that doesn't solve the problem. That those provinces just cost double the admin cost of everything else, so that's just not worth taking. So yeah, I would definitely say pay attention to which provinces are crazy rich and just sprint to the richest provinces. Get westernization at 1420 or whatever made it really easy to start fighting the eastern and western powers. Like I repeatedly, not me personally, but me and the Ottomans together repeatedly stomped France and Spain together. You know, like if you can ally the Ottomans early, which is, I've never failed to ally the Ottomans when I wanted to early, because until they get a quest to kill you, they just love you as an ally. Then you don't have to worry about anyone in all of Europe. And taking European territories instead of going east or into Africa just makes you so much more powerful, because all of these provinces that I took from Russia, they're all like 9 or 6 or, you know, some of them are crap, but most of them, like Ryazan is 20, and I got Muscovy in like the second war with Russia, and Tula and Bryansk, and these are all 11 and 7 and 20 and 17 and 11 and 11 and 11 and 7 and 18 and 9, right? So taking this European territory instead of going into Africa where everything is 3 and 3 and 3 and 3 and 3, I think it was just, it was a much more powerful playthrough. So yeah, it's done, man. It's finally done. And I know I kind of skipped from 1620 to the end of the game, but once I had 300,000 troops and no one was even willing to join coalitions against me, even when I had 500 aggressive expansion against them, I didn't think there was anything really worth watching. It's the beginning, it's the trial and error, it's the failing, and then finally success that I personally find interesting. Finishing it out, you know, I didn't bother to record that. So yeah, Merry Christmas. You'll notice I'm not doing really great in this final war. I declared a coalition war just so that they'd pull in the mamluks, because taking these last couple territories from the mamluks, you don't even have to core them, you just have to convert their religion. Once you have 500 correct religion provinces, you get the achievement. So I knew that I'd get the achievement just by beating up the Mamluks real quick, and so I never bothered to even kill the armies of the people that are fighting me. So don't read too much into that. You know, I got 130,000 troops here that I could have killed their armies with. I was just lazy. So yeah, Merry Christmas. Bye.